well, I mean, this is another abuse of the Sedition Act. I think people have forgotten the limited scope, in my opinion, of the Sedition Act. Again, one must go back to 1948, when, at the eve of the declaration of emergency, the British brought in the Sedition Ordinance of 1948 in 1 hour. There was no debate. And then that lasted till 1970-71, after the May riots, when the Sedition Act was strengthened. So you have it's 2 rounds. The Sedition Ordinance became the Sedition Act. But nonetheless, there is a limited protected class. We mustn't forget it. So who are the protected classes that Parliament thought needed protection? And the first was, of course, the rulers. And they've identified the Malay rulers and probably the governors and all that. Then number 2, the governments. And when I say governments, I would suggest there is a limited restriction to the federal government and to the 13 state governments. So for example, it certainly doesn't extend to foreign governments. So for example, we have a double dealing. You cannot criticize the Indonesian government because it's abang, but you can criticize the Singapore government. Well, to me, neither is protected or covered. You cannot talk about the Israeli government because, my goodness, Israel, you can't talk about it. Now, that's again outside the scope. Coming to political parties, and of course, I should just say that the bar had an EGM last Friday, and there were a lot of members here were at the EGM. And my speech at the EGM was, why is this happening? And my answer was, UMNO is going through a climate of fear itself, and they are being paranoid. And when UMNO goes through these powers episodes, we have this problem. So I'm not surprised that I say that because Mr. Reiner, remember Mr. Reiner, the lawyer, the lawyer and the DAP assemblyman, he has been charged for saying Chila ka UMNO. Now that presupposes that UMNO as a political party is protected under the Sedition Act. I'm sorry, no political parties are protected under the Sedition Act. It's fair game. So the DAP can criticize the MCA, UMNO can criticize PAS, and that is what political parties are there for. So my first comment, as a matter of law, clear law, there's no ambiguity. Political parties are not protected. And then we come down to Perkasa. Who on earth is Perkasa? Sorry, who are they? What locus standi do they have? I'm sorry, who are these people? I mean, they are not protected under the Act. Now, insofar as, sorry, you said Mr. Bui, so what did Mr. Bui suggest?
He suggested that there should be a review of the Islamic constitution due to the MB crisis to ensure that that doesn't happen again. That's opinion.
Yeah, again, if anybody suggests or recommends the reform of law, if they say, look, this act, if I just take it, if somebody says a lawyer, not only be a lawyer or someone, or a scholar like Azmi Sharo, if he says, look, I think the Hire Purchase Act is terrible. The Hire Purchase Act requires repeal. It's really bad. Why are we? In fact, this afternoon we had a session in this place where there was criticism about the Defamation Act. Criticism in the sense that it's out of date. That is perfectly in order. And unless there is criticism generated from the floor about the laws of Malaysia, how can you reform? So again, to me, however you stretch the Sedition Act, anybody who criticizes a law, and the Constitution is a law, and proposes reform, he has not done anything wrong.
Thank you, Doctor.
But why do they get special treatment? I think they're allowed to say whatever they want, because that's an opinion. Just like we are allowed to say whatever we want as well, and that's part of freedom of speech. So they are annoying. I think they probably get more space than the rest of us, which is rather unfortunate, and I'm not sure why the media wants to give them that much space. But yeah, why do they get special treatment? You mean why does no one go after them for saying some of the things they do?
That they do, yes.
Well,